Archie Comics meets Love and Rockets with Santos Sisters Volume 1. Hey, comic freaks, and welcome back to Dangerous Comics. I'm your host, Dane Georges, and today we're looking at Santos Sisters Volume 1. And I am super excited to look at this sneak peek with you guys on the channel. I got this advanced copy from Fantagraphics so we could review it together. So let's dive on in. Now, if you've been with the channel for a little bit, you know that I did a review on Santos Sisters number 1. I love this book, and this volume collects the first 5 issues. All these guys. So, ton of fun comics packed in here. So far on the channel, we've only looked at number 1, so lots to dive into. This was originally coming out from Floating World Comics. You can see down here, Floating World. I believe the first issue that we were looking at originally on the channel was the one that they self-published before it was picked up by Floating World. And now this first volume is coming out from Fantagraphics. Let's take a look at the spine here. Just a really beautiful edition right off the bat. Love that they're using those just really strong pops of color. Fantagraphic logo looks so nice there. You've got Alana and Amber right there on the spine. And then on the back we have the Santos sisters getting their amulets that gives them their powers with Madame Sosostris right behind them. With the back cover being adapted from this inside cover illustration that they did in the first issue. So it's a beautifully repackaged book. Really well considered. And my favorite part is this cover. It actually has like this acetate cover that when you slip it off, we actually get a reveal of the girls in their normal clothes. So really fun. I love that interaction of like the clear film, get a reveal on the actual cover there. They look beautiful there. And then without the cover, you get no type on the back. Just really get to appreciate that illustration. So really cool wraparound clear film cover. Colors printed so nicely on there. Really great. There's even some sparkle in there in the shine of the diamonds on there. So really fun interaction with the cover. It's my favorite kind of thing that you can do with design and book design. It's kind of taking a chance, doing something different. It fits super nicely on there and just brings a lot of value to the book. This is going to stand out on the shelves, and I think this will be a big selling point for a lot of people. The design of the cover actually really reminded me of the Adrian Tomine Killing and Dying cover that Drawn in Quarterly did. Kind of had a similar thing with the acetate cover and how the type design could be taken off and left blank for that front cover. And if we crack it on open, these end pages are super nice, just really zoomed in look at some panels. Really nice to see the details, really get to appreciate Greg and Fake's line art there. Get some nice like tooth to some of the line work. The coloring is one thing that really stands out from the original issues to this edition. I believe it's mostly just due to the paper stock that they've picked for this book. And here's another zoomed in panel, and I really just love these kind of looks at the art. We can kind of really take in some of the moments here. I love like this thick line that Greg's using on the outline of Alana's arm. This spread, we get a look at all of the characters in the story, or in the Santos Sisters universe. Great full lived-in world here that they're building, and a beautiful look at the table of contents, and really highlights what's kind of special about Santos Sisters. It is usually a collection of short stories or strips, so here they've done a really nice job of actually just calling out every strip, and still giving us the context of what issue they appeared in. One thing is they don't include all the covers. I think you guys know how I feel about that. I usually call that out. They do have in the back, though, and I think this kind of makes up for it, they have a collect them all section where they highlight what these appeared in, and you do get a look at the individual covers themselves here, and you even get what was the reprintings for issue 1. We get the third printing, the variant covers, the first printing, then when it was taken over by Floating World. So here is where we at least can take in those covers. So I do appreciate that they are at least included somewhere, if not in the full context of the book. And I also think it's good to start on this acknowledgement section, because throughout this book, we are only getting the credit of Greg and Fake, who are the real showrunners of this book, but there have been a lot of other people involved in the back end. There is that mysterious air around Greg and Fake. Is it 2 people? Is it 1? It is saying here, Greg and Fake collaborate between Chicago and Mexico, respectively. But here I do love that we've got a little bit of acknowledgement of other people involved in this book. And some of those people would be Mark Kopenarov, who was the head writing assistant. He did a lot with helping promote the book and has co-written a lot of the strips in here. Lifelong friend Graham Smith, who lent his expertise to the world-building process. Dave Landsberg, Mark's longtime writing partner. Dennis Therault, who helped edit. And then a big thank you to Jason Levin at Floating World Comics, who really helped get this book out into the world. And then moving into Fantagraphics with Eric Reynolds and the rest of the team. And further down here, we get some call-outs on people who worked on this direct edition. We have designer Justin Allen Spencer, production Paul Barish, promotion Tucker Stone, editor, VP, associate publisher, editor Eric Reynolds, and president publisher Gary Groth. So, without all these people, this book couldn't be done, even though we just have Greg and Fake's name on here. Just want to make sure that everyone that worked on it definitely got that credit, because it is a really beautiful book. It's a beautiful world that they've built here. Let's take a deeper look here. So we've looked at a lot of these stories here in issue 1. Let's look at a little bit of some color differences, though. And I know there's been some changes even between this first edition of the book to when it went to Floating World. I know they cleaned up some of the color separations and all that to make it a little cleaner. But you can see there are even direct color changes, background changes. The skin tones seem to be different picks throughout. So it has been slightly altered, but you can also just see how much clearer or brighter these colors are sitting on the white of this new paper. So the first issue was a little bit oversized. It takes up the first almost 40-some pages. Yeah, I love this Santos Sisters and not the father, as Amber is in love with this boozy bee character and then has this dream about having his child. But if you want a little bit of a deeper look at that first issue, I'll have a card right here they can click to check out that first review that I did. But yeah, that first issue itself is like the first almost like 48 pages of this book. And then we jump into what we at least haven't looked at on this channel. And this is an advanced look. I'm not going to look at every page here. Definitely want you guys to go check this out yourselves. Just want to highlight how cool this book is. But just to give you more looks at maybe just how different just even printing can make a book. Just looking at just paper stock and looking how differently these colors look just being on a pure white page too. Looks great. It looks very clean. Both really cool ways to experience this book. Just cool that if you have at least read this in, the floppy editions, you will notice it is a slightly different reading experience in this Fantagraphics book. We get Spit and Shine and Weird AI Enkovic. What a fun character. What a great name. But they're fighting zombies in this story, and Spit and Shine are exes, and they're getting back together to help this AI villain. And then as they're getting back together, he starts getting calls from this other girl, Swallow. Just so many great jokes in there like that. Alana and Amber have to take them out. I also just love this ongoing joke of that, like everywhere they go in this book, Todd, who Alana is in love with, is working there. He is constantly losing his job because every adventure that they have and then having to move to a new job where they then have an adventure and he loses his job there again. We get a dragon story. Love this old lady design. Just a really fun style and world that Greg and Fake is building here. Obviously building off of this nostalgic kind of Archie Comics Dan DeCarlo style, but with a little bit more of a modern twist to it. And love this one where they're at a bar and they're drinking out of this tiki cup, and in the cup appears Madame Sosostris, and she's giving them a message, and as she's giving them the message, they drink the drink all the way, and then she's just gone and didn't even get to hear what she had to say. And then the girls are just a little drunk and go drunk flying to go stop this dragon. Get a Howard the Duck character in here too. So really just fun comic language throughout. I love that when Amber's trying to hit the dragon and it ends up hitting the Howard the Duck character, and that's just such great cartooning there. It's just his eyes and duck bill are sticking out. Another fun story with 8-Ball. I love that this character literally just has an arrow going through her head. I think when you first see that character design, you would think that she has that part of her mask, and it's just like kind of like a gag mask design, like here on the cover, but we see more as we see her that she truly has that arrow going through her head. So that might be why she's a little zany. Also just love this body language on this cover as Todd is just being held up by his shirt. Poor Todd, he's just always going through it. But here we go to another restaurant. They're going to the Oliver Garden. Love that play on Olive Garden. And when they go here, they once again realize that this is another place that Todd works. And the reason that 8-Ball is here is because she used to date Todd. Beautiful colors here in this background. Man, I love that transformation panel. That is gorgeous. Those colors are so cool. And, she goes crazy, kind of sets the place ablaze. I don't think Todd's going to keep this job for very long. Love this story, this little short story with Ants Man. This guy goes to a seedy motel with this lady of the night. She tells him to cover himself in honey. When he finishes, he's completely covered. She just robs him and leaves, and he realizes that, there might have been something in that honey, and it knocks him out, and he's drugged. Wakes up, and there's all these ants all over him from the motel, and just starts making him go crazy. But I really just love that character design, as he's just like wide-eyed screaming. He's just covered in ants, kind of like sentient ants controlling him. And the ants make their escape for this little ant hill. He dives into it, and they all just disappear off his body. Man, but it's just full of just fun stories like that. A lot of fun characters. We have Bridget Spinner comes back. Love that, that play on fidget spinner. She steals this burger restaurant that's opening in town. Another place that Todd was trying to work at. Does not go well for him again. But they're falling. These colors are just gorgeous. And I think this is a place where you really can appreciate how saturated and poppy the colors are on this white paper stock. The color on the hands for both of these panels is really nice. And I love this panel of Madame Sosostris dabbing. Kind of a fun just world where the story always goes on. They never really catch the bad guys. The bad guys get away. They're going to come back again. Just a really fun comic world of open storytelling. Man, Amber really, really enjoying that burger. I think she earned it. And I think probably one of my favorite stories in this as well is this. It's very DMT to meet you. And we get this crossover with Lucky Gnome. And just Amber's being crazy here as she's just on the street. She sees this sticker that says, Lucky Gnome, have some free LSD, look here. And she just goes for it. And it's real LSD, and she just starts tripping out of her mind. More just amazing background colors throughout here, and I think they really, really pop. Wow. This 4-panel sequence as she's falling deeper into the trip is just gorgeous, as she goes from this organic world to this techno-organic world. So cool. There are just stories throughout like this. I think there's something for everyone to enjoy here, young and old alike. Man, look at that. Just that fun design as this cinnamon roll comes to life and then turns into almost like a Kirby monster with a Wednesday Addams character in there. I can't say enough good things about this book. I'm blown away. It's such a beautiful package. If you have read these 5 issues in floppy format, I think you can really enjoy them again in this. And if you haven't read any Santos Sisters, this is a really fun place to check it out for the first time and really fall in love with this world that Greg and Fake and team have built. Really fun splash page of just all the characters in this book. And then we end on the first Santos Sisters story, and this was also included in the first issue. We took a look at this when we did that review. So just a really fun, well-rounded package. You can kind of see this evolution of the characters, of the design. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. We end on a prayer to Saint Isidore, and another just zoom in on Amber. So I really love that we start with Alana and we end with Amber like that. Just really nice bookends. Love both of these end pages. They're just gorgeous. What a fun book. Let's take a look here at that full cover, open like that, just gorgeous. So I don't know if you could tell or not, I really like this book. I hope you guys had a ton of fun looking at this with me. This book is going to be available everywhere March 11th, so please run out to your comic shop, tell them you want a copy, have them hold one for you. You can also pre-order this from Fantagraphics or anywhere else you'd get books. I'll have links in the description below so you can check that out. But please support a cool comic, support a well-designed book like this. This is going to look beautiful on your shelf. And this is just such a fun collection of stories, fun issues, fun characters, just fun to be had by everyone. And I really think if you are just a comic fan, if you haven't even read Santos Sisters before, this will not disappoint. You're bound to have a good time. So please check it out. Go show some love to the creative team. And if you do, I really hope that this means that Fantagraphics will continue making awesome Santos Sisters volumes, because we need more of this. And if you're looking for more comics, why not check out some of mine? I'm a self-published cartoonist, and you can find all my comics at danegeorges.com. There you'll find books like Doomskull, which is about an ex-supervillain that works at a grocery store with his minion Bag Boy. I have 3 issues of that in print and a 4th on the way. You'll also find my newest self-published book, Jiggly-Bub, which is about a piece of gum that God spits out and lands on Earth, as well as some horror zines like The Passenger, which is about picking up a hitchhiker, and Sleepless Sights, as well as X-Ray, which is a collection of my 4-panel webcomics. And like I said, you can find all this and way more at danegeorges.com. Another way that you can support my work is by liking, commenting, or subscribing on this video. It really helps a lot. And if you want to take a step further, you can even become a member. You'll get videos early and see a little behind the scenes. But thank you for all the continued support. It really means a lot to me. You guys are the best. But until next time, remember to think and read dangerously.